Welcome. We're glad you can join us today for the NTTV News at noon from the University of North Texas. I'm Sir Calvin Wallace.
And I'm Sir Jay Starks. It's such a beautiful day today in Denton, a much needed change from the rain and the severe weather we've been experiencing during the past few weeks.
You are so right. I can't even complain about the humidity and the heat index today. I'm just happy to see the sun out. Today's top stories: UNT's researchers will receive millions of dollars in awards of the study of the effects of spills on the Gulf of Mexico species.
And the UNT Autism Conference shares techniques to improve success at school, home, and beyond. But first, speaking of college, college students, they should always have support to make it through their education. Here's Sir Calvin Wallace to share with you who you should go to for that support.
People really know the SGA Vice President?
Cam has been a very good influence on campus since I've been here for about 2.5 years. I always see him around.
He's always active at all the events.
Yeah, we see him at every event we attend. He supports everything everybody does.
Cam has not just reached out to the regular students, he also reached out to our 2C program.
I'm very pleased with the participation and leadership that Cam Willard has embodied while he's here on campus. As a close friend of Cam Willard, I watched him grow from an aspiring freshman to a leader on campus. Pretty much every event that happens on campus, Cam is involved with.
When I actually met Cam, it was my freshman year, and we met actually at the Greek Showcase for the MPHC Greek letter organizations, and I heard Cam speak. He just asked a question, and the way that he really spoke, I always looked at people as, wow, like he really impressed me. So I went up and I introduced myself to Cam, which I don't necessarily do too often. I did that because I said to myself, I'd really rather him be on my team than ever have to go against him.
Cam, could you tell me what time it is right now?
It's about 9:17 maybe.
So you can say that you put in a lot of work day and night. Being a hardworking individual, you know what I'm saying, how has your fraternity, how has your being involved with SGA, how has your being involved with PPSO affected your work ethic?
You're never not going to be called. Your work is never done, and something that this year has really testified to. I've been here all day. I've had class all day. I attended an NPHC fraternity meeting. I've also handled a couple of things that just pertain to the organization and the association as a whole. Next week we have our State of the Student Body Address that'll be coming up, given by our very own president, President Elliott. And it just lets me know that there are always things to be done. Whenever you feel like your work is done, you've surprised yourself because there's something that's going to present itself.
As you can see, Cameron Willard is a well-spoken, highly spoken of young man on this campus here, and he loves the people. I'm proud to say that he is my SGA Vice President. I'm also proud to say he is my fraternity brother. My name is Sir Calvin Wallace. I'm signing off for NTTV. Thank you. We'll be back in 30 seconds to learn for the first time what can make you healthy, wealthy, and maybe just a little bit wiser. Thank you.
Welcome. We're glad that you can join us today for the NTTV4 News at Noon. From the University of North Texas, I'm Sir Jay Starks.
And I'm Sir Calvin Wallace. It's such a beautiful day today in Denton.
Yes, it is.
Much needed change from the rain and severe weather we've been experiencing lately.
Yes, definitely. I'm sure you're right. I can't complain about the humidity and the heat index today. I'm just happy to see the sun. Today's top story is UNT researchers will soon receive millions of dollars awards from studies and effects of oil spills on the Gulf of Mexico series.
And the UNT Autism Conference shows techniques to improve success at school, home, and beyond. But first, find out one key component of graduating on time. Here's Sir Jay Starks at the University of North Texas.
A not-so-new habit has grown to new heights for college students in the U.S. Alongside financial aid, a lack of seeing the student advisor has proven to be a leading block in graduation for college students.
Studies are showing that there is a sharp decline in advisor visits from college students. Students are more and more feeling as if the advisors prolong their college careers.
I don't know, I just really feel like I could just do it myself. I don't really need them to pick out classes. You can go online and do that, and it's much faster without the hassle.
I started off as a business major, and they knew I didn't want to do that, just meeting with them constantly. So they actually advised me to switch to sports management.
We spoke with Jolisa Starks to see how she felt about what the students had to say.
That's the first I've ever heard. No, I don't think so. I don't believe that that's true. That's completely and utterly false. A lot of students come in, you know, when they're required their freshman year, and they, you know, self-advise after that. And one of the cons of that is that you come in and you think you're ready to graduate, and the downside is you may not be.
Only 4 in 10 students consider counselors their primary source of advice. 1 in 10 students never even meet an advisor or counselor in college.
Well, if I could give any advising, I would tell you to go and see your advisor and get your grad pack before you get held back. I'm Sir J. Starks, NTTV News. All right, we'll be back in 30 seconds to learn from the first time what can make a healthy, wealthy, and maybe just a little bit wiser.
Well, I'm interested to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be good. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Sir Calvin Wallace. I'm sitting here today with Sir J. Starks, and we're just talking a little bit about how to get through school. So, Sir J, I hear that you're a DJ, not just a regular DJ, but a Christian DJ. Could you tell me about that a little bit?
It's a little weird. Most people don't know that we exist, but for Christians, we like to have a lot of fun as well. But obviously, our environment looks a little different. We're not too big on the club scene, you know what I'm saying? So, and obviously we listen to music that's a little bit different. So it's my job to present that in a fashion that's aesthetically pleasing. And for a lot of people who are becoming Christians, young Christians, I have to be good at merging and kind of filling a void, because you strip certain types of music and certain types of lifestyles from people, you got to replace it with something. So that's kind of the beauty of what I do.
So you can pretty much say that you've reached out to a lot of people in the UNT community. So going through school, how was that balancing that? How is it to balance, trying to be a UNT student and then trying to also outreach and touch all the UNT community?
It's very difficult because in addition to being a student and in my career as a DJ, I'm also married. And so it's hard to give my wife the time that's necessary for her, as well as be a good student and focus on my career as well. And so one of the best ways I can kind of defeat that challenge is schedule and prioritize to the best of my ability. And so since my wife actually works for the university that I attend, I can, sneak up for lunch and see her from time to time, while at the same time having a young man who I might be, maybe talking to or building with or whatnot, have him, follow me to our office, go meet with her, come back out and be like, all right, bro, let's go get lunch kind of thing. And just kind of keep a fluid day going. I try to merge as much stuff as possible.
You said you're married. What is that like? Being a UNT student, you're a young man, like 22, 23 years old. How does it feel, to be actually married and be a UNT student? Like, what's it like?
Well, it's great. It's great being married as a student, because since my wife works for the university, my school is like almost free. So yeah, so I actually get refund checks because of my scholarships. So I pretty much get paid to go to class. So on that note, it's pretty cool. But having her here and having her close is definitely a benefit for me. Being married and being young is cool because you have a partner to just kind of enjoy your youth with, She likes to travel and do crazy things. She's Caribbean, so she's introduced me to a lot of fun stuff. And so that's, it's just fun for us.
All right. So we got one more question for you, Mr. Sir J. Can you give our viewers just out there one tip to help them survive through college?
One of the biggest things for me, because as a college student, I transferred from a private school, very small, 600 students, to this large university here, 37,000 students. And I went from a 3.8 GPA, a big fish in a very small pond, to my first semester dropping down to like a 2.8 and feeling like a very small fish in the ocean. And that was mostly because of my being intimidated by a large campus. And so one of my bigger tips to a student who's coming to a large university is just not to be intimidated by the campus. Because now as a senior and about to graduate, I recognize out of this entire campus, I've only been in 3 of the buildings, but I allowed the entire campus to intimidate me and tell me I'm going to have a hard time here. So just overcome that obstacle and you'll be fine.
All right, thank you. Well, that's all the time we got today. I'm Sir Calvin Wallace, NTTV News.
Hello, welcome to NTTV News at Noon. I'm Sir Jay Starks, and I'm joined today by Sir Calvin Wallace. Today, we're discussing some of the stresses of being a college student. How do you get through, and how do you put yourself on a course for success? And so, with that said, I want to ask Sir Calvin, how do you like Sir Calvin? Do you go by Sir Calvin? Or?
Yes, I go by Sir Calvin.
Okay, all right, great. So, Sir Calvin, what were some of your goals going into your college career as a freshman? What were some of the things you wanted to do to prepare for college?
Well, I came to North Texas as a football scholarship, full ride football scholarship. Mm-hmm. And one of my biggest goals, I want to be all conference. Right at the jump, not really thinking about how much work it takes to be put into college football. That's what I wanted to do. And well, I got red-shirted. So I ended up not playing that season, so that went out the window. And but another one of my goals is my mom was telling me to focus on my academics. So I wanted to get a 3.0, and that actually worked out. I ended up getting like a 3.2 my freshman year, so I had something to bring home to mama. She was really happy, so that was one of the biggest things I achieved.
Gotcha. And in addition to, you say you play football, you currently play football as well?
Yes, I'm still on the football team. I'm a redshirt junior this year, and this is currently going my third or fourth season actually playing.
Okay. And what are you studying? You said you want to focus on your academics. So what are you studying? What major?
Well, I actually have 2 majors right now. My first major is Converged Broadcasting Media, also known as CBCM. That's just dealing with all kinds of broadcasting, multicasting, working with the internet, radio, TV, web, everything really all just jumbled into one. And also my second major is political science. I think that's really important to know what's going on in your community and try to help out through a political view.
Gotcha. So you're balancing 2 majors as well as being a football player.
Yes, sir.
It has to be tough. How do you deal with both of those? Is there a fair balance? Is it pretty challenging?
To be honest, it's pretty challenging. You got to it's really hard to prioritize because your coaches are begging you to do one thing and demanding this of you, and like if you don't do what they say do, you lose your scholarship. At the same time, you got to pass your classes. Your teachers are pulling you all these different ways. You got projects due, and so it really just takes a lot of time to prioritize and focus. Sometimes you really got to work with your professor. I learned this a lot just talking to your professor. They understand that you're going through. They were college students at one point in time, so they kind of understand. Just always kind of keep an open line of communication with them.
Gotcha. And so with you being a football player and being a student, what's a regular day look like for you? Just kind of map out for me. What does it look like from morning to night?
Well, it just depends on what semester it is. In the fall, I could probably start my day around 8 or 9 o'clock, depending on what time I have class. And class is usually about 10 or so. As I got further on my degree plan, it's usually been around 10 or 11. So I wake up around about 9 or 10 o'clock. And then go to class, of course. Then around 11:30, try to grab something to eat real fast before I have to go to practice. Around 11:30, around about 12 or 1, I start heading over to the field house, start getting taped, because you got to be taped for anything. It's mandatory that you have to be taped or else you're going to have to run. Like if you don't get taped before practice, you're going to run. It's just something you got to do. So Gary get taped early. And then go to the locker room, just kind of relax, get ready for meetings and so on. Around 2:15, 2:30, we have meetings. Just get ready for practice, the whole script of what we're going to be doing, new plays, anything being entered. And then around 3 o'clock, 3:45, going to the field till around about 6.
All right. Well, there you heard it from Sir Calvin, the star player from UNT and star student as well. I'm Sir Jay Starks. This was NTTV News at Noon. Thank you.
We have just learned that an accident involving an 18-wheeler and a pickup truck pulling a trailer happened moments ago in the northbound lanes of I-30 East at the Fort Worth exit. This 1 mile section on both the north and south sides of I-30 East is closed until further notice. Denton police report that the tractor trailer spilled 200 pounds of recycled materials onto the highway and access road. Hazardous material teams are on their way to assess the spill. We'll be following the story closely as it unfolds. Watch the bottom of your TV screens for further details as they come in. And be sure to follow the events on our website, nttv4u.com. I'm Sir Calvin Wallace. Thank you for joining us today for the NTTV4 News at News.